Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Watch Soup. It's been a while. I know we keep on promising that we're going to be more consistent, but the holidays came, Thanksgiving and whatnot, and we have Christmas going. So it's kind of like a little bit crazy on my schedule and Clayton's schedule here. But I am Bobby Legs, and I am here with my co-host, Clayton from the Watchdog Podcast. Clayton, how you doing, my man? What's going on?
I'm doing well. Yeah, tired, crazy. Things start to settle down a little for me work wise next week, so
Yeah,
kind of looking forward to that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. How about you?
So is the holiday season because more people stay home than they don't need their dogs.
Yeah, or they go away. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, yeah, I'm starting like so many new dogs right now too. It's just a kind of a crazy time. I have to start new dogs, so when people go on vacation, I can fit new dogs in. So I don't
Yeah.
remember ever being this busy,
It's great, man.
and
More
I'm like
watches.
14 years in. So yeah, that's right. More watches. Or
um.
right now, I'm wrestling with buying, and I was talking to Keith a little bit about this earlier. I'm wrestling with buying a Canada Goose jacket.
Ah,
They are so expensive,
they're so
but
expensive, right? But
I
they
could
last
really
forever, right?
use it. Yeah, I would use it. I would last forever. It would last forever. But man, it's hard to justify. It's hard.
I don't know, like maybe 10 years ago. I guess when they came out, whenever it was real trendy, right? And I was working in the city, and a lot of people had them, and at that time, they were like 600, $700.
Yeah.
Um, is that
Oh,
like
that can't even get you a kid's jacket now. The kids youth jackets are 950 now.
what?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but look, if that thing lasts for your lifetime, it's worth it.
Still a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I see one every single day, and then in the video I'm going to talk about tonight, the guy is wearing a Canada Goose vest. So I was like,
Oh,
oh, it must be a sign. And my wife is, of course, like, just get it, just get it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, they get up as far as like $2,000, which,
man.
yeah, the one I'm looking at would, I think, with like tax and everything, is about 1,500.
Wow.
I usually get like pretty good tips around this time of year,
Yeah, yeah,
so I could probably pay for it with that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
still, it's kind of scary. Like, what have I done this year? The economy, you know. So
yeah. No, hey, look, I understand. The threads that I'm like starting to be like getting out of this I gotta stop wearing sweatpants all the time phase. You know what I mean? I'm still like holding onto that from COVID, right? Now I'm back in the office working like 4 days in the office and 1 day at home, but 4 days. So I'm starting to dress a little bit more appropriate and feeling like okay, maybe I should just like step it up again, my game a little bit. But I've been so I've been obsessed lately. So with like dressing like this is like it's embarrassing, dressing like Eminem. I don't know why.
Jesus,
I don't know, right? You know what I mean? Like so some of the pants and like some of the sweatshirts
like a
that he's
hoodie, like a hood
yeah, like the
over you,
hoodie,
so
yeah, yeah,
nobody
like
could see your face.
G Star, that's the brand, and like a lot of the stuff they have there is like crap. I don't like it, but some of the tapered pants, I can't believe I'm talking about this, and the sweatshirts I ordered. The sweatshirts so comfortable, so fluffy and comfortable, and like yeah, like I just now I need like a proper vest jacket, to wear over my sweatshirt, and a hoodie, and just like get like a ball cap with a tilted brim. I mean, like uh,
Yeah,
yeah. Anyway,
that's a good look for you. I like that look for you.
thanks, man.
I'm picturing it now. Yeah,
Yeah,
mental
um,
picture. Please send me a picture when you
I will.
complete this ensemble, please.
I will. I will. I will. What do you got on the wrist tonight?
The Lions Chronomat,
Oh, nice.
Breitling Chronomat B01 Lions edition.
Yeah, I
Yep.
I I totally.
Are you naked?
Yeah, I'm totally naked.
Wow.
Good one. I know. I know. It's been one of those days. Anyway, hey, let's say hello to some of the people in the chat, and then we'll jump right into the videos. Hey, Marcel is here, and he's wearing his Spirit of the Big Bang tonight. Awesome. Hey, Brent, what's going on? Keith is here. What's up, buddy? Joey B, what's up, man? Mez9 is here. Good to see you, Mez9. Caliber is here. Hey, Thomas, good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, good morning for you, man. Um, we're looking forward to hearing about 60 Minutes program on watches, man.
Me
I
too.
was I was telling Clayton before we started the stream that I think I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. Very detailed, a lot of stuff to unpack. I'm going to be skimming through some of it, but whatever. Yeah, the economy would go south, but if I were homeless, I'd sure love absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
jealous.
always have that. I always have that.
I'm jealous. I mean, I think I got the poor man's Canada Goose. I got a Patagonia, which is still nothing to sneeze at. But that's a good jacket.
Well, even the brands you've never heard of, and now I'm getting inundated with ads. I mean, some of these
Of course.
jackets I've never heard of are $500, $600.
I know, man.
Um,
It's
yeah,
crazy. You
yeah.
know, like I'm finding that like if you put stuff in your so you sign up for like the newsletter and the text alerts, right? For whatever brand that you're looking at. I find that like when you put stuff in your cart and then just leave it there, they'll send you a text like, "Oh, you left something here, and oh, here's like another 20% off." You
Oh,
know,
that's smart.
so
Yeah.
some not with all of them, but G Star, that's how they're getting me hooked. I want to
Huh.
dress like a G. I
Yeah,
want.
I'm gonna. Maybe I'll mirror you, and next week we can do like a Eminem. He's a Lions fan.
Yeah, yeah,
He probably has this watch. He probably has this watch.
yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't that be awesome? Oh man, you did like Watch Bros with Eminem. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I know the general manager of the Lions has it. I've seen him in the box wearing it when they show him on TV.
Sweet,
So
and of
yeah,
course he should be. The
yeah,
owner should have one. You know, like
exactly.
the organizationally, they all should have it, and
Yeah,
you're part of the organization, which is great.
that's right.
Um, okay, hey, let's jump in. I'm gonna take the lead here with the 60
Okay.
minutes. Why Swiss watches made by Richard Mille and Patek Philippe are so expensive. And when I saw this title, I was like, okay, you could totally tell that maybe at least somebody, whether it's the executive producer or even the journalist, not necessarily um, are watch knee deep into watches like we are, right? Um, just because the way they who they picked on this title. I mean, like, well, Patek Philippe, I get it, but Richard Mille, I mean, like, I think anyway, like that's let me just go for it. I don't know. I just found the title very
Max
interesting.
Busser.
Yeah,
Max
Max
Busser.
Busser. Yeah, yeah, Max Busser. Um, so 60 minutes, the format, they start talking right in front of like the green screen with the topic in the background, and the guy sitting in the chair is like, they started off with let the Germans and the French and the British fight over who invented the wearable clock, um, or watch in the 1500s. What we know is that the Swiss have refined the art, and leave it up to the Swiss, he says, right? And this is uh, a curious time for the Swiss industry. You don't need wrist candy to tell time. Oh, wait, I just jumped a little bit over here. See, I told you, man. There's just so much information on this one. Anyway, so they go and they start off the interview or the video. The Man, I'm just like losing it. With Defour,
What a
Philippe
cute little
Defour,
old guy.
cute
Yeah,
little old guy.
yeah.
Swiss watches are the subject of Trump's tariffs. They take a trip down to the Valley de Joux, Watch Valley. It's a 1 hour north of Geneva, where where is actually a global hub of manufacturing since the 1700s. And the reason being so is that when the farmers, going through like these, harsh winters, they started picking up a side hustle in the 1700s, right? And they were tinkering with watches, with the big hands and the little hands. And so we land at the shop of Philippe Dufour. The old watchmaking methods endure with Philippe, right? The time that it takes to make the watches, the tools and whatnot, took him 2 years, right? 2 years to make that first watch. Now that what was the name of that watch? The Simplicity.
Simplicity. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
anything but right.
anything but 153 individual pieces, but he's 77 years old and he still makes watches from the beginning, from scratch, until the very last part of it. And now it takes him about 2,000 hours, right, which is 1 year to make one of those watches. I mean, he does have some watchmakers there to help him out. um, Talking about the journalist was talking about, hey, how do you feel about some of your watches fetching enormous amounts of money. People selling them on auction. One being sold for like $7 million, and he likes it. He enjoys it. He's like he doesn't see any of that money,
Right.
but he's happy that somebody could get that much. Then they take a short trip down the road to the shop where Antoine Le turned his barn in 1833 into a watch shop, and now we know it as JLC. And they feature the Reverso in this piece. Um, they also visit with a minute repeater, and they talk about the perpetual calendar. Then they take a short trip over to Geneva, and this is where you know they the shops are for these brands, and heading to Geneva, which is pharma and banking are much bigger sections of the economy, but watchmaking draws out the national character of the Swiss, right? And so this is where they introduce Mark over from Watches TV into the conversation. And
We've
he
covered
says,
his videos before. He
"Oh,
looks
yeah,
familiar. Yep, yep,
definitely,
yep,
yeah, yeah."
yep.
Um, and this is where he chimes in here and says, "In Switzerland, we like to make things very well, right?" And then they opine about the watch movement, or at least he does. The watch movement is an incredible. It runs 24 hours a day, and some people get hung up by plus or minus 5 seconds. That it may be off, but there's 86,000 or every 86,400 seconds in a day. And so this distortion is nothing. It's nothing. Why do people get hung up with it? Um, then they start touching the piece starts touching about the quartz crisis. We know all about what happened in the quartz crisis. Nearly killed the Swiss watch making industry. You had very cheap watches who accurately told the time, probably better than most mechanical watches would, right? After that brief little his history there, they go into a Richard Mille, and they try on the $2 million mechanical watch that has about a 1.75 millimeter a thickness on that watch, which is it's a marvel. I mean, it's not I don't think it's anything great to look at, right?
No,
But it is a marvel being that thin and able to tell time. Um, and because of like watches like that, right, at a $2 million clip, and watches that are in hundreds of thousands of whatnot. Um, Although the Swiss watch industry represents less than 2% of the total unit sales, it does represent about 50% of the market value, right? Because of all these high price watches that we see. Um, and these watches, these high price watches, they're really only for like a small cohort who can afford them, and it is almost gauche, right, to go into a shop as they go into Patek Philippe.
I
It's
like this
almost
part.
yeah, it's almost gauche to go in there and expect for you to buy a watch on the spot. There's a dance, right? There's a dance with the little
Right.
gloves, and the guy's like, I want to develop a relationship first. You can't just come in here and buy a $300,000 Patek Philippe, right? Patience is measured in years with these wait lists, right? And some people wait 10 years, right? um, the journey is for the Swiss watch making industry is kind of bumpy right now, right? The US having had placed 39% tariffs, I think they kind of like rescinded, right? They kind of
They're
down to like 15
officially
now.
15 now. I think it
Yeah,
was official today, yesterday,
or
I think.
yesterday.
Yep,
So, but
yep,
so when this
yep,
article, when this piece was created, they were still under the guise that it was
yep.
39%. And at the end of the video, they kind of showed how like the titans of the watchmaking industry went to Trump, right, to talk to him, and
Right,
they presented
right.
him with a gold Rolex desk clock,
Yeah,
to appease him. It seems like that's the way to old Trumpy, is to kiss his butt and give him
it
gifts, right?
worked. It
And it
worked.
worked. It worked. I guess it worked. And this is where they segue into like Max Busser, right, from
Yeah,
MBNF,
Mr.
Max,
Busser.
Mr. Busser, and he was mentioning how like 2020, the COVID really changed his business, right? I mean, they weren't really selling much of these watches before that, but then he started getting hundreds and even thousands of people reach out to him, but he had no desire of ramping up production, right? He does around 400 watches a year, and that's good enough for him, right?
Yeah.
um, Let's see here. Let me get to the right page. Do, do, do,
I
do,
like
do.
that part where he said he, had no interest in growing. Um, I,
Yeah.
I I identify with that as a business owner. Sometimes it's just I didn't get into this to grow and manage all these people. I did it for the love of what I do, and I think that's why he didn't really want to grow.
Oh yeah. And,
Yeah.
look, I mean, I think that's probably like the artist in him too,
Yep.
and the
Yep.
engineer in him too. Like, didn't want to, wants to create something special, and and so he believes, like, watchmaking is art, in fact. And he's like, why, and if we think of it as an art, then why do 90%, 9% of the watches look the same? And that kind of, like, takes it to the trajectory of like his design, the Bulldog watch they present, and some other timepieces. And he's like, telling time is pointless, right? It's pointless, which is kind of like silly, right? I mean, when you think about it, it's pointless to tell time with a mechanical watch. It's more about the art. And he interviews his clients, right? He doesn't like and that's why he keeps the number down. And they
So
touch on,
Chanel owns part of it.
and Chanel
Yeah.
owns like 25%. He did sell Chanel 25% of that. um and then so the interviewer asked him about, like, how some of his watches are, like, are selling for these crazy prices, and he seems to be really annoyed by it, right?
Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't like that his watches are viewed as an investment. And so, although he's happy that his clients can make money, but he's not really too keen on that. And I think that's, I don't know. I would like to dig deeper, in that, or would have liked to see him get pushed a little bit on that, because I bet you he does, in a way, kind of likes to see his stuff, even on the secondary, go up in price like that. I mean, you know. Dufour had no problem with it, right? And so, like, I think, like, maybe Max is just putting like a little bit of a front. That's just my speculation. Maybe he generally feels like how he said in an interview, but I don't know. Anyway, and they wrap it around, and they finish off the video going back to Philippe. Max brings him up. I think they worked on something together, and then you get to meet his daughter, right? His young daughter,
Right.
who's following in the footsteps, and a very cool scene at the end of the piece where Dufour takes about 7 or 8 of his pocket watches and have them chime kind of like together at the same time, and it simulates the cows on the hill with the bells, and then moving and hearing that in the background. And to this day, even though he's like 77, he still loves hearing that. Anyway, like, really great piece here. A lot to unpack. And it just, when I after I saw the video and was taking notes, just as, not necessarily watch related here, but the difference between like a professionally done news piece, and then compared to like some of the videos that we see, from
Right.
right? I mean, like, it's night and day. Like, however you feel about 60 minutes, I know some people like, 60 minutes, you know, whatever, however you feel about them, they are pros. And the piece was just so chock full of information. It was one of the more difficult videos that I've ever had to break down in such a short period of time, just because, man, they just they're pros. They just
Yep.
know how to put a piece together. Anyway, I don't know if I learned anything new. I mean, like, it was nice to know a little bit more about Philippe before. A lot of this stuff, information, is like, if you're in watch collecting and a watch enthusiast, and you read up on it, as often as we do, you kind of know, like, a lot of the stuff that was going on, and that has been going on with the industry. But what did you think? Anything jump out on you?
Yeah, a few things. So yeah, it's always exciting to see our hobby get covered in mainstream media. Um, maybe, I had two different people, family members, send me this.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah. So that's always cool. I think maybe it brings some legitimacy to the fact that we're so obsessed with this stuff. Like maybe it helps people get it a little bit, like, or by, people that sent this to me. So I always like that. I always like when gets covered. The interview with Max was interesting and kind of confirmed what I've always thought. that watchmakers maybe don't like. I'm sure he's happy they sell for what they do, but when
Mm.
they're viewed solely as investments instead of art pieces, I think that probably pisses watchmakers off. Like people who baby their watches and just leave them in watch boxes or safes. Like, I don't know, if I work 2,000 hours to make something and you keep it in
Well,
a safe, that would probably make me upset.
but okay. I mean, like, so, like, if you're an artist, if you're a painter,
Yeah. Well,
um,
can't really
and
interact with paintings. They're not super functional.
well, but I mean, like, they're pleasing to the eye, right? And you can I think you can interact with paintings. I mean, like, I've been there's plenty of times I've been to museums that have just been blown away and just like, remember, like, feeling what I felt when I saw XYZ on the
Oh,
wall.
yeah. Yeah, certainly.
Um, and so, like, I mean, obviously, a lot of these guys, a lot of these painters, they're more famous after death, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard to like go back. But I mean, do you think, like, I was trying to think, like, what would Van Gogh think right now? Like, if he knew his paintings went for 70, 80 million dollars.
Oh,
Okay.
I think you think it's incredible.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he'd be ecstatic and incredible. So
Yeah.
that's why, like, when I'm thinking of what Max said, maybe he feels that way. Um, but I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical. I
See,
mean, I
I'm
think he's
not.
saying the right.
I'm not.
Okay.
I believe him. I think watches are meant to be worn. Paintings are meant to be
Hmm.
looked at, and then you interpret what they mean to you. Like it's sort of left open to interpretation, right? And that's why they're powerful to us sometimes. Because Starry Night, what the hell does that mean? It means something different to everybody, right?
Yeah.
But a watch is, it's a piece of art in a way, but it's also meant to be worn and
Hmm.
scratched up and, meant to experience life with. So I think from that standpoint, watchmakers probably get a little miffed when their watches are kept in safes and, bought as an investment instead of something to be worn and enjoyed.
Yeah.
Not even worn as a tool necessarily, but just something to be enjoyed and make memories with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yep. Training his daughter. Rolex did the whole Swiss economy is solid. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Basically.
But
Um,
we've talked about it before, like, really, this thing was probably about pharmaceuticals,
mhm,
right? So, where
mhm.
were the pharmaceutical people, buttering him up,
I'm
kissing
sure
his
they were.
ass? Yeah, I'm sure they
Yeah.
have been. We just haven't
Yeah.
heard about it. I don't
Yeah.
know if
Yeah.
I didn't hear about it, but maybe they were there. But yeah, leave it to the watch people to come in and save the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. I mean, like, like we kind of knew also, or at least maybe we were hoping that that tariff would come down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 39%. Okay, that's crazy. This has got to be some sort of like negotiation ploy or whatever. Um, we knew it was going to come down, or at least hope so. So hope so. Like, I never really thought like 39 would stick. Um, but anyway, it's down to 15. I think what was it, like 10 before, or I don't know what it was before.
Yeah.
Anyway, it went up a little bit. Okay, hopefully that doesn't get passed down to the consumer. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, with Omega, you never know, right?
Right.
I thought the segment was well done and up my respect for 60 Minutes. When you see them do a subject justice that you're knowledgeable on, it gives some legitimacy in segments on other subjects. Hey, they did a few years ago. They did a great piece on Eminem. Anyway, anyway. Just saying, just saying. I mean, like, they did. It was good. It was good.
My
Uh,
theory is Trump went to buy a watch and then got hit with the price increases and the
yeah.
tariffs. He's like, "Oh, I got to do something about this."
You know,
Just like
you
he's
know,
doing with the farmers, fixing his own problems.
but like, often, like, you would see, like, somebody put a picture up of, like, what watch this president, like, Biden was famous for wearing a date just, and what Kennedy wore, but like I never seen like I never seen a watch on Trump. I'm like, maybe.
Oh yeah, the
Oh, he
Watches of Espionage has done previous videos. He's
okay.
worn like what is it, a Patek Philippe Ellipse.
Oh,
He's
okay.
worn, yeah, he's been seen in a few. I think
All right.
maybe some people have done videos on it before, but I remember the Ellipse sticks out. But lately, I don't think he has been. But this presidency, I think Watches of Espionage said he hasn't been spotted, but in the past, yeah, he's been spotted in a lot of Patek Philippe.
Yeah, Eminem found a way to rhyme with orange, and on that
Yeah,
jacket, he did. He did.
I really liked the Thanksgiving Day halftime show. Jack White brought Eminem out. That was good. Yeah.
I missed it. I think I was like in food coma, but yeah, no, that's it was is Jack White from Detroit? Yeah, he's from Detroit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
My aunt, we were at Thanksgiving, and my aunt was a librarian, and she worked with his aunt. And one day they were, a few years ago, I guess they were talking about what they were doing for Thanksgiving, and she said, "Oh, my nephew travels a lot, so he's home, he's never home, so we're going to his house." And my aunt didn't ask, and she didn't say. And then her other coworker was like, "You know who her nephew is, don't you?" She's like, "Who?" He's like, "Jack White." She's like, "Oh, I've heard of him."
Yeah, oh yeah, I've heard of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
youngster.
So,
Yeah.
yep.
Awesome, awesome. All right, hey, let's jump right into your pick this week, and it's the old Teddy Baldassarre. I gave an Omega Ski Master to a deserving subscriber.
Yeah, I
Take
thought,
it away.
it's the holidays. We'll share a heartwarming, uplifting story. I don't really know how much discussion we can get out of this, but hey, let's give it a shot. Yeah, so Teddy, cut to Teddy. He's in a car. He has a Speedy in his lap. He's on his way to make a special delivery. He posted an Instagram story a while back asking people to submit a story. Tell Teddy about someone in your life that deserves to own the watch of their dreams. Got lots of amazing submissions, but Lucas stood out. His story represented what Teddy loves about watches. Lucas saw the Speedy at the JFK Space Center as a kid and vowed to own it one day. Sorry, didn't tear my pages out. Should have done that. Uh, he got one, but eventually had to sell it for unfortunate reasons. Teddy will now reunite him with his grail 10 years later. Can't tell who's more excited, Teddy or Lucas. Let's get to the story, though, first. Lucas has a wife and two kids. He's an Army veteran. He's a food service professional, bartender, waiter. Um, he shared a passion for watches as a kid with his dad. A Mito watch of his father's started it all. Like we said, he first saw the moon watch at the JFK Space Center in 1993. It was love at first sight. He saved for it when he was in the military, and he bought it in 2011. He was so happy, he finally had the watch of his dreams. He owned it for a couple years, wore it all the time, and then unfortunately, his mom got diagnosed with thyroid cancer. She was so special to him, and she didn't have insurance, which is a shame. She had to pay out of pocket for everything, so thousands and thousands of dollars, and they needed money. He sold his watch. That was the one thing of value that he owned that he felt like he could sell and get some money for. So that's what he did. 45 minutes on eBay, and it was gone. The focus was on his mom. Didn't even care about the watch at that point. She was fine after the surgery, thank goodness. He eventually got around to telling her that he sold the watch to help pay for her surgery, and she was pissed. But he said, "You know what, Mom? I love you more than I love that watch." But however, he did start to miss it. He would save for a while and then have to spend the money on something else. So he never was quite able to get one again. Um, and then unfortunately in 2016, he got diagnosed with the same kind of cancer his mom had, thyroid cancer. It was a crazy time. He had just gotten married. His wife was pregnant. They were just in complete and total shock. He was a young guy. I mean, I think he's 39 now, right? So like 29, 30 years old. So, man, just starting a family, and then another health tragedy came up in their family. He went into surgery. He said to the doctor, "My family needs me. My wife's pregnant. I'm going to have a son. Please help me get through this." And he's been cancer free since 2017. One day he saw the moon swatch when it came out, but it didn't make it to a swatch store until this year. He finally went and he bought one, but it was short lived. As soon as he got home, his son said, "Daddy, I love that watch." And he's like, "You know what, son, it's yours." So the son got the watch. So again, he's without a moon watch or a moon swatch. Um, Lucas has been following Teddy's channel for a few years. His wife ended up seeing the post about giving away a watch to someone who deserves it. And she said, "You know what? My husband deserves it." So she wrote in, entered, and then we cut to Teddy being there. The family just thinks they are shooting a video for the giveaway, so they don't know anything about the watch. But Teddy, he's a little sneak. He's not there to just do that. He's lying to them. He's there to deliver the watch. And Lucas, they meet and again, like we talked about a few weeks ago, people are taller than you think. Teddy seems like a giant of a man. I did not realize he was that tall. And Lucas says, "You're much taller than you seem on YouTube." Um, then Teddy presents him with his Speedmaster, and Lucas is nervous. He's shaking. Um, and then Anna, his wife, says, he's talked about watches their entire marriage, like most of us do, and she's so thrilled that he can have this moment. He does so much for her and for their family that this is his special moment, and she's so happy it could happen. She knew she had to enter the contest. Teddy was touched by the story and said it was his absolute honor to be able to give Lucas the watch. They FaceTime his mom too, and she was thrilled. So yes, Lucas finally is reunited with his Speedmaster. This is just a really nice story, and whatever like reason Teddy did it is really cool that he was able to do this. And this guy and his family have been through so much, and for him to sacrifice, and I think most of us would do it. If it was
Yeah,
nut cutting time and our loved one needed a surgery, we would sell our watches. I know I would.
yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
so and it's so cool that and then he went through cancer and was able to be reunited with. So what'd you think of the story? And is there anyone, I'll put you on the spot, is there anyone in your life that you think you deserves like a watch, or maybe a family member, maybe they haven't gone through something as like traumatic as what these people have gone through, but maybe someone that inspires you to give them a watch, and what would that watch be? I don't know, just trying to make discussion out of this.
I think I deserve a watch.
Yeah,
I think that's
give yourself. That's right.
look. The story is great, and give for Teddy, to give back. I mean, he built an empire. Like, I mean, like
Yeah,
he started, like, just doing reviews and do some fashion stuff. The channel grew. From the get go. It was very well produced. Like, he almost felt like he had like a team with him already set. Like,
yeah,
when he began, got to 1 million subscribers. He has a boutique. He's rubbing elbows with celebrities, and whatnot. And now, like, he's giving back. And I think, great story on Teddy. Hopefully he keeps it up. He certainly can afford it.
pretty
Um,
professionally shot, not 60 minutes level, but it's pretty
no,
good. Yeah,
no,
this
no, but
stuff,
pretty
he
good.
does this stuff well.
I mean, like, for, as watch content goes, I mean, like, he's
Yeah,
he's up there. I mean, he's always been up there.
yeah,
Just well done, and really professional. Um, yeah, I mean, like, like, the thing is, like, there's not too many people in my life outside of you guys that are into watches.
right.
So, like, like, if I pick somebody and be like, "Oh, here's a watch you really deserve," the big dude. I mean, I'd rather take the cash, or, like,
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean, or like, I'd rather have a car, or,
Yeah.
that's gonna get me to work. So yeah, I mean, I wish, I could think of anybody. But how about you? Is there anybody, like, in your life that you think deserves?
Well, yeah, I didn't necessarily. My mom raised me and my sister, single mom,
Yeah,
dad like nowhere to be found. It was hard. It was
yeah,
hard,
I can
and
imagine.
I don't. So I did something for her last year to make up for it, because I mean I mean I moved to California when I was in college. She somehow like paid for my apartment when I was there, and
Wow.
then I moved back to Michigan to finish school. I kept my apartment. Like, she paid for that. I have no idea how she paid for that.
Yeah,
But when you're that age, you don't really think about that. You're just me, me, me. Like, you don't really put into perspective like the sacrifices your parents make for you all the time. So last year, and she accrued some debt and
yeah,
was still holding on to that debt,
yeah.
all these years later. So I helped her with some of that. And
That's awesome, man.
yeah, not a watch, but
Yeah,
it's, sometimes just paying it forward. Like, I
yeah,
think only when you're older can you recognize the sacrifices that your parents made for you. Sometimes it's just lost on you if you can, and you're 19 years old, like, that's really
yeah,
amazing. But sometimes we just don't have the fully functioned brains to like grasp it yet. So we're so focused on what we're doing. So yeah, just, I don't know, just, it doesn't have to be a watch, but I don't
yeah.
know,
No,
someone in your life, and it could be a small gesture, just pay
I
them back.
yeah, I did something, so, like, something like that with my mom years ago. She was living in Puerto Rico at the time. And she had bought this house, and she's like, oh, we should get new cabinets, right? Because whatever. So like like that like trip, me and my cousin, we go to the casino in one of the hotels, and I'm playing blackjack, and I won about like $7,500 that night. Like I was
Nice. Wow.
like I was like it was a I was on fire. I could never replicate that ever again. I was in blackjack after blackjack after blackjack, and I was betting bigger and bigger, and I was hitting and I was hitting, and I got 7,500 whatever. And I remember coming back home and going to sleep because it was late and I was sleeping in late. My mom came into the room because she had to get something and she saw the money on the table. And so when I woke up later, um, I sat, sitting for like lunch or breakfast, and she's like, "Bobby, are you dealing drugs?" Right? That's what she thought.
All this cash,
And I'm,
$7,500 in cash on the table.
right. And I'm like, no, I was just in the casino, and oh, by the way, I want to buy you those cabinets, and like that whole oh, were you buying drugs? That just like left. That was like, oh, thank you. So that's awesome. She was like,
Amazing.
what drugs? What drugs?
Yeah, right. You can hide them in the cabinet.
Yeah. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it feels
just
good to do that stuff.
it's
Feels good to do that stuff.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, especially with somebody like, not that I was in a similar situation, but my father passed away when I was 13, so she had to
Mm.
raise me, right?
Yeah.
As well. She was
Yep.
dad and mom.
Yep.
So it was just good to it was good
Yeah.
to, like she helped me pay through college. I mean, I paid too, but she helped me pay through college and like apartments and stuff like that. So like I don't know how she did it, right? Same way as your
Right.
mom. How did she do it? But yeah, no, it definitely feels good
My
doing that.
mom's like financial situation is not improved all that much. So it
Yeah,
felt, I paid off for credit cards. And
yeah,
when people are just paying the bare minimum, it's like with the fees
yeah.
and
You can
everything,
never
it
catch
doesn't get
up.
you anywhere.
Yeah,
You're running in place. So
yeah,
it just made me feel good to do that. And she's still like, I'm giving you that money back. I'm paying you back. I was like, I do not want you to
yeah,
pay me back.
yeah,
But it just, yeah, I don't know. It felt good for me to do that.
yeah.
So yeah.
Um, hey, what's up, Jason from Design Ateliers here? How you doing, buddy?
Hello.
Trap Vision 3D. What's up, sir? Um, Scrape 949. I don't know why, but like now, like I'm seeing like the at
Yeah.
names. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing like the
And the numbers and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something. I'm a boomer. I mean, there's probably like an easy way for me to fix that on my end. On
Well, YouTube has made some changes recently. I've noticed on videos and stuff, like the subscriber count of people of
uh,
channels is like in a different
yeah,
situation now. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just got wonky.
yeah, just
Yeah.
got wonky.
I
Hey
know
man,
last time we did it, we had two streams going. Did you notice that last
yeah,
time
no, no, no.
yeah,
That,
that
that
was
was
weird.
that was on me. That was on me.
Okay.
So like StreamYard is like, oh, you can stream. You should stream. That suggested you should stream on landscape and portrait. I'm like, okay, and it's just like
We did
it showed up
both.
as it showed up as two different videos. It was just stupid. So I'm just like doing just how we always do it. I don't know if
Yeah.
the other one was for like the phone. You know what I mean? Like, if people watch on the phone. I don't know. Again, I feel like a boomer. I don't know. Is this for the phone? Oh man. Hey,
Oh
hey,
God.
look, if we do this next week, big surprise, the Christmas tree's up.
Oh,
So I'm gonna
sweet.
have the Christmas tree, and I'll probably stay up until March, like it always does. But anyway, but it'll be the soup from the Christmas tree.
We're not
When
festive here. No, there will be no tree or
it might
anything.
be the sleeping
Yeah.
dog in the couch, but
Yeah, there she is. Yeah.
it's cute. Hey, we did it. Look, I stumbled off the gates, man, out of the gates, man. I mean, it's just like when I'm off for a couple weeks doing this, like it's
Oh,
like
you were good. That's a boy, yeah, for what is it, our first time in 3 weeks, and you tackled a
yeah, no,
very
I don't know why I did that.
content dense video. So
Yeah,
no, great job on that. I was obviously, I mean, the Teddy video had just kind of like described itself. So that I was like, that's the pick.
yeah, no, that's awesome. No, it's a good feel good story. Anyway, look, hey, Lions, man. I mean, like, what's going on? I mean, are we gonna win
I
that
don't
division?
know. Well, division's probably toast. Now we have to
Yeah,
hope for Keith's Bears. We need them to lose, and then we need to win out. I mean, they need
yeah,
to win out. The Rams is probably the toughest game. Then they
Yeah.
play them this week. So, but lost Brian Branch for the year. I mean, injuries just it feels like a repeat of last year, except they're not as good of a team to withstand all the injuries. So, I
Yeah.
don't know. Playoffs may or may not happen. Not sure at this point. But,
I'm sure. I'm sure you guys will get in. I'm sure you guys will get in
I don't
somehow.
know. Yeah, I think they go even 3-1, they'll be lucky to get in because they need help to lose. So and
All
I
right.
know like 49ers and Seahawks have kind of easy schedules, so you may not get help from them. And then just we play the Bears again, and they
Yeah.
play the Packers again, and you hope they lose. But
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, yeah. I don't even want to talk about Washington.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's just
Jaden Daniels comes back hurt again.
heard again. Yeah. No, that look. I mean, like, I knew they weren't going to have the same kind of year as they had last year. I knew. I mean, that's the whole sophomore thing with the quarterback, and just like they just had an easier schedule. Their defense is just horrible, and so we'll see. Maybe next year, things will improve. Hey, Thomas. Oh, Thomas is gifted one Bobby
Oh,
Legs
cool.
membership friendship. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Thomas. You've been a great supporter over the
What a
years.
good guy Thomas
Yeah,
is.
absolutely. But hey, man, yeah, we did it. Um, and I think we could call it a night. What do you
Sounds
think?
good. Okay.
All right, my
Sounds
friend.
good with me.
Have a great weekend. And I will, and everyone on the chat, thank you so much for your participation. Thanks again, Thomas, for another gift. Thank you, sir.
Wow.
And we will see you guys next week for another episode of The Soup.
Have a
Take
good
care.
week, guys. See
See
ya.
ya.